But let's take a close look at a PlayStation 2 racing wheel. This time I'm going to be having one collaboration with Ferrari. We have seen it before, but this is going to be any fun. And the racing wheel that I noticed on the flea market and I needed to pick it up. The guy asked $5 and I was like, let's see what's going on with this racing wheel, and is this going to be anything that you actually should, like, say, collect, or is this something of a complete garbage? Vibrating wheel, that was more of the things that they were releasing back in the day. First feedback was something of more like professional or like more expensive stuff like the Logitech lineup. Sold by Intertoys. I don't know if it was in Belgium, but there was like a big store back in the day. Yep, back in the day, because I think they don't exist anymore, or I have a brain fart. But racing wheels, man, I love these things. But when it comes to racing wheels, I do have like not always positive experiences. I mean, in particular when it comes to compatibility. That is one of the biggest problems we're facing with these freaking wheels. But that's why I just wanted to check them out and to see if they're going to be any fun. So let's see what's going on. So with the pedals, okay, it seems to be okay looking. Whew, man, this thing is filthy dusty. But everything is in here. Okay, and also the thing that we're going to be doing for attaching it, because otherwise it would be quite difficult to actually use. But this is actually a company that I've never reviewed here on the channel. I have these wet cleaning cloth. That's actually the way how I just mostly clean these things. And yeah, I must say that first thing is interesting, that you're going to be looking into like the two configuration of these two D-pads, or is this like the replacement for the D-pad and the analog stick? So yeah, this thing is really filthy. It does have like suction knobs, so that's kind of cool. But let's clean it a little bit further. Also the shape of, it's kind of interesting. Like engineered by Guillemot. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sorry if I'm going to be butchering your name, or if this company is still around, like the Intertoys thing. Okay, so this thing is already filthy. Let's get another one. I buy these things with the action. You know what's kind of funny? You're actually going to be cleaning your face with this. The makeup cleaning cloth. So let's just do a little bit of an, let's say, basic cleaning. Let's see if we can get these cables away. Oh, the suction knobs, man, they are like really annoying. Because this thing is supreme filthy. Like seriously, like this thing hasn't been used for many years. Another thing is interesting, that we have like dual panels over there. Ooh. They're not the ones are micro switch, but the buttons aren't. Okay, that's kind of weird. But how about the overall quality? So this thing is made out of plastic, like everything. There's not even some rubberized stuff on it. It's quite comfortable when it comes to the form factor, but that's the quality. Nevertheless, we're having two of these like nipple joysticks on the front over here. All of the buttons are, at least most of them, on here. So I'm guessing that one's D-pad and one is going to be ABHY, I'm guessing, because we're only having L2, R2. It's a very strange combination, having multiple, let's say, pedals. It makes no sense, you know. It's a kind of weird racing wheel. We're only having the old school Sony plug, so we're going to be plugging this thing in. Going to be looking at it, assembly to my desk. The pedals look kind of weird. They are looking the same like the Mad Cats, so I'm getting some old school vibes over here. So the pedals do have like two different springs, so we have like a very nice tension over here. But next, that's actually it, you know. It's nothing special. It's kind of funny, it said like engineered by, so maybe they did engineering for Mad Cats, no idea. But this thing looks almost the same. But let's hook it up and let's see how it's going to be performing, because that is going to be another test. So let's see if I can assemble this freaking thing. So there are suction knobs, but they're not doing anything at the moment. So I have no idea what's going on, but I do also have a very thin desk, and there's always like a big problem. Let's tighten this up. Yeah, it's not going to be giving anything better than that. Suck, you damn it. Suck to the desk. Okay, so let's see how you're going to be selecting your car. Do I need to press start for everything? Yep, I need to for everything. But I'm really curious how this thing is going to be performing and how accurate this thing is. We do have the option to play different kind of modes by simply pressing over here. So let's see, we're having over here this red LED, green, and we can turn it off. But let's see what's going on. So let's load it up. Automatic acceleration. But if you're going to be trying to steering, oh whoa, a crazy dead zone. Okay, next up, mode number 1. Seriously? Okay, it continues. We're still having automatic acceleration going on. Whoa, this thing rumble function is crazy. Mode number 3. It still has this weird input. Okay, what's going on? Something wrong with my pedal? But what I wanted to try is like what happens if you're going to be switching between modes. Can we actually make this better and playable? Now, mode 1 is absolutely horrible. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's get into the final mode. Oh, that seems to be better. Oh yeah, the final mode's better. So the dead zone becomes way smaller. But then we're having still the issue of the pedals going all places. So that has to do something with this. Let's blow this connector over there. Let's plug it back in. Okay, so there's seriously something wrong with my pedals at this case. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. So we're not going to be using that for once. I'm going to be using the tiny nipple bean button. But that's quite unfortunate. So also with the input. But let's be honest, this is unplayable. So well, let's use the back button over here. So that's the reason why there are actually 2 buttons over there. Okay, that's nice, that's nice. So it's quite fun to play when it comes to that. Still there isn't dead zone, but it's better than all before. The question remains, like, did the seller did he sold me like a broken piece of crap with the pedals? So let's go with the show and let's see what's going on. Can we actually play this game? No. Let's try. But the weird thing is we cannot switch between modes, so that is quite unfortunate. And this dead zone is insane with Burnout. It's kind of interesting because when you're going to be looking at some other games I've been playing, and also if you're going to be looking at other wheels that I'm testing out with this particular game, that some of the games have the option to actually just have a great compatibility with no dead zone, and where this freaking monstrosity has like the problem with just a game I tested out with a couple of other racing wheels, some cheap wheels even, that had like no problem whatsoever. Ugh. Okay, so I think I'm going to be regretting this because I've chose the rally part of Gran Turismo. Can we actually mess around with acceleration? No, this is no analog situation. How accurate is it? Whoa, massive dead zone. No, this is not the way how you actually want to play Gran Turismo. The weird thing is, what I don't understand is that I did have the option before to actually change. So I don't know what's going on. Let's plug this thing in. Let's plug this thing out. Let's turn back on. Can we choose the green one? No. Somehow it doesn't give me like the analog option mode. So it's kind of weird that it's going to be different for every single game. Because in this case also, when it comes to Gran Turismo, this is going to be fully unplayable. Look at this. This is like the biggest dead zone I've ever seen before. Oh crap! And also 2 pedals at the same kind of position almost is going to be even another problem. So yeah. Whee! Okay, so finding a wheel like this is always fun. Paying $5 for it is not a lot of money. However, it's quite unfortunate that the pedals are not working now, because that is like the full racing simulation experience. And with this Ferarri wheel, yeah, this is like a full plastic fantastic situation. For me, it's just like one of the risks I'm taking to make reviews like this. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching, and it will be great to see you in the next video.